Hey, what's up, Simply Recipes crew? Nick Evans here. We're cooking live. We are making an awesome recipe today. It is Chinese orange chicken, like traditional Chinese takeout recipe that you might get at any Chinese takeout spot. But we are going to cook it live. So what I always like to do is give me a wave in the comments or something. Like to see where people are watching from. I am also going to, before I get cooking, just really quickly, I like to post the recipe link in the comments so you can check that out. And that way if you want to see like a printed version later, you can find it super easy. So hold on, let me just grab that. And that is on simplyrecipes.com, so it's easy to find. And it's a recipe that I wrote, so I know it pretty well. Hello. Some people from Texas. What's up? Florida's in the house. Sweet. Let's see. And I'm going to try to watch these comments as I cook. So if you have a question, leave a comment, and I will do my best to answer it if I can as I cook. So you might hear some sizzling in the background. I actually have a version of this cooking already on my stove because I like to fry it in kind of two batches. So I'm going to show you guys the basics. We're going to fry up a version of it. It's very quick. We'll make the sauce. We'll toss it all together. It's a delicious recipe. And to be honest, it's like, maybe a 30-minute meal. I can do it in under 30 minutes for sure. So, it's a super great recipe to try. So, let me see here. I just want to make sure my chicken doesn't burn. I have frying. So this is kind of we'll get to this step in a little bit. I just wanted to check it to make sure that it's cooking evenly and getting delicious. I think a lot of times people think like Chinese takeout recipes are like super hard to make. And that is sometimes the case. But it's also sometimes the case that they're very easy to make and don't have any real like special ingredients. And this is one of those cases where it's very doable. So let's talk about the basics of this dish. So, obviously it's an orange chicken dish. So you're gonna want some kind of chicken for it, right? You could use boneless, skinless breasts. Those are fine. They're a little pricier. Personally, I like boneless, skinless thighs, which are very affordable. And they also have a little bit more fat on them, and I actually think that fries up better. So I prefer to use those. And what I do is I just cut the chicken into about 1-inch cubes, like that. And this recipe, it calls for 1.5 pounds of chicken, which ends up being about, I would say about 5 thighs. 4 or 5, somewhere in there, depending on the size. And then you just want to cube them all up and add them to a bowl. And in this bowl, I also have 2 eggs and some salt and pepper. So really straightforward seasoning, right? Nothing too crazy. And so what we're going to do then is add it to a dredge. And in here, I have 1 part flour to 1 part cornstarch. Now, there are recipes out there that say you should use all cornstarch. Personally, I like a mix. I find that it gives you the right crunch, but also is a little more substantial. The all cornstarch version to me kind of has more of a like chicken tempura feel. It's like a really thin kind of crust on it, which is good. It's just different. And you want something that's gonna like really hang on to the sauce when we get to the sauce phase. So for me, I like 1 part flour, 1 part cornstarch. You could play around. Is that corn flour? Yeah, I do think it is labeled corn flour depending on where you are in the world. So yeah, I think maybe it's called corn flour. I don't know. Cornstarch this is what I use. It's basically like a thickener. Depending on where you are in the world, it might be labeled something different. But yeah, it's just the starch from the corn, basically. So it's gluten-free, but it's not. This recipe isn't gluten-free because we're going to put flour in it. But this cornstarch is gluten-free. And it's just a really good thickener. And so, okay, so we're gonna add this to our flour cornstarch mixture. And try not to get too, it's okay if you have some of the egg liquid left over. You don't necessarily want it all. You just want to coat the chicken in that. There we go. Get rid of that bowl. And so the idea here is that you just coat the chicken in a really light breading, essentially. Now this is going to be just the perfect amount here. Beautiful. So this is going to go in our hot oil, and I like to pan fry these, so I don't do a deep fry thing. Just pan fry in a little bit of oil, and you can turn them halfway through to make sure they cook evenly, and you are in business. Lynn asks, how long in the egg? Literally like 1 minute. It's not really like a marinade. I mean, you could let it sit longer if you wanted to, but I mean, you're just trying to give something for the breading to stick to, basically. So, you know, you don't need to let it sit forever. Okay, so let's see here. This is our finished version. I'm gonna actually grab a bigger piece and just test it to make sure it's cooked through. Let's see here. Oh yeah. So, juicy, delicious, steaming hot. So these are good. So let's see, I'm actually going to, so what I like to do is I'm going to pull these out and do a second batch. And the ones I pull out, I'm just putting on a paper towel so they can drain a little bit. And then we'll do the main sauce step over here so you guys can see the whole sauce thing. Because it's pretty cool, it comes together really beautifully. All right, these are crunchy and delicious. So I'm gonna move this. So this is like musical bowls over here. I got a lot going on. Okay. And then I'm gonna add these to my hot oil, the ones that were in the flour. And then I will return this to the stove so they cook. And while they're doing that, we will make the sauce. You want to try to shake off, when you're doing this, you know, I'm just going to use my fingers, that's faster. Try to shake off as much of the flour as you can. You don't want a lot of extra flour in there. There we go. Almost there. Perfect. And then this skillet is going to go back on the stove just to keep frying those guys. Wash my hands. Okay, so we're done with some bowls. We're done with this bowl. Let me just wipe some of this. I got some cornstarch everywhere. If you're cooking this recipe fast, it can be a little messy, but all right, so we have half a batch done already. That batch is going to take about 6 minutes. And so while we're doing that, we can talk about the sauce. Just make sure that is actually cooking. Where'd my tongs go? Tongs! Okay, so let's talk orange chicken sauce. This might not be a surprise to you, but the main ingredient in orange chicken sauce is orange juice, orange zest. We want it very fresh and really like that sharp orange citrus flavor is what we're looking for. So I like to get a big orange, one of these guys. We are going to use the zest and the juice from one of these. Now you could use orange juice out of your fridge, but I actually find that juicing a fresh one for this recipe makes a big difference. It's really, really delicious. So first thing is I like to get my little zester and just zest this bad boy. And ooh, oh man, I love that smell, that fresh citrus. Woo. It really makes a huge difference. Don't skip this part if you're making this recipe. And this is the part where you can actually improve on some of the standard takeout recipes, because they're using a lot of times like a pre-made sauce that they maybe made like days ago. And so having a really fresh sauce will definitely set yours apart a little bit, the homemade version. So this looks like a lot of zest, but you want a lot of flavor in there. So this is the orange. This is where it gets its name, right? So try to get all that out. That's a lot of zest. It's probably like 2 teaspoons of zest in there. And then I'm just going to, as well, juice this. You want about a 1/4 cup. I think a 1/4 cup. Let me look. Hold on. Another recipe. I shouldn't guess. 1/4 cup. 1/4 cup of OJ. And that's probably going to be about this whole orange. Maybe not quite, but if I go over a little bit, that's okay. I'm probably just going to roughly juice this whole thing. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Executive decision. The whole orange is going in. It's all going in. Oh, yeah. So, there we go. Little orange bit. Delish. Whew. Man, this smells already, it's like so fragrant. Yes. Anybody have any questions yet? No questions on that part. It's pretty straightforward. So the other stuff we're adding to this is soy sauce. I think I have some soy sauce somewhere. Soy sauce. Cool, soy sauce. So I'm actually going to measure out some of this stuff. You don't want it too salty. Let's see. So you want a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. And again, I posted the recipe in the comments. So if you scroll up in the comments, you'll see what the deal is here. You can print this guy out if you want to try it out. So a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, and then a 1/3 cup of rice vinegar. So 1/3 cup of rice vinegar. And that adds like some nice tang to the sauce. You could use, I'm trying to think of a substitute if you didn't have rice vinegar. You could use white wine vinegar. I think that would work okay. Rice vinegar is a little not quite as tangy. And then the other really important ingredient is sesame oil. Love this stuff. And you need about a tablespoon of this. Just gonna kind of eyeball that. It's probably about a tablespoon. And then let's see, water. You need water. A little bit of water to thin it out. And there's one thing, I'm missing one thing I feel like. Oh, I'm missing 2 things. So you need some sugar. Sugar. Sugar is very important in this recipe. It helps the sauce thicken and gives it that kind of classic sweetness. There we go. So this looks like a lot of sauce, right? But it's gonna cook down and it's gonna thicken beautifully, so trust me on it. So then the last thing is we need more of this. We're using our cornstarch again just to like thicken the sauce a little bit. Oh, hold on, let me go flip my chicken. I'll be right back. All right, chicken batch 2 is almost done, guys. This timing is actually gonna work out beautifully, so super excited about that. I like it when I get the timing right on one of these live videos. You're not just like sitting around. Hey Emma, what's up? Let's see. Tracy asks, do you feel using dry measuring cups for liquids is close enough? Yes. For a sauce like this, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of, if it was something super specific, I would maybe use a wet ingredient measuring cup. for a sauce like this, it's fine. You can use anything. Honestly, once you get decent at it, you can just eyeball it. But. So I'm gonna whisk in a tablespoon. I did measure the cornstarch. Cornstarch is a crazy thickener, so you don't wanna have too much of it in there, or it'll turn your sauce into like a syrup. So I'm trying to think what the math is there. Probably about a 20th of the recipe is cornstarch, like 1 to 20 if you're going there. So there's a tablespoon of cornstarch and there's probably like a cup and a half of other stuff. So yeah, works out about that way. It's math. All right, so our sauce is done. And I don't know if you guys can see that. I know you can't smell it, but oh, it's like, it already smells delicious. It's got a lot of citrus. You can smell the soy sauce in there. Very excited to cook that. Okay, I think our second batch of chicken is done. Just pull it over here. I'm gonna actually turn on my little stove over here because we're gonna finish this guy over here so you guys can see what it looks like. Again, I'm just gonna grab one of the bigger pieces and just chop into it. I think that was about 6 minutes, so yeah, good, perfect. Might give it like 1 more minute. Just give them all a quick little flip here. Get my stove going. Yeah, you can see that these are not like, you know, these aren't like fried, they are fried chicken, but like they don't have quite the same crust as like a good, you know, piece of cast iron fried chicken would have. It's much lighter than that, which is fine. That's actually just the style of this dish. So, you know, you wouldn't want a really heavy breading because it would just get too mucky with all the sauce and everything. So this is just perfect. So I'm gonna pull these out onto my same, I just have a paper towel here. Beautiful. This recipe makes quite a lot too. I mean, this definitely will feed a family of 4 and probably have a leftover lunch portion as well. If you have 2 little kids like me, this will have like, you know, we'll have tons of leftovers out of this. Okay, so I'm gonna pour this oil into a bowl. I want to try to keep the pan hot because I'm going to add some stuff to it right away. So I want to try to keep the pan hot. I'm not really going to wash it. I'm just going to kind of like rinse it out, or not rinse it, wipe it out. Okay, so I just put that oil in a bowl and I'll deal with it later. And then I just get a little paper towel and just kind of give this a little wipe. It's okay if there's a little bit of like flour, cornstarch stuff in there still. That's okay, no big deal. And then what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna add a little fresh splash of oil. I'm using olive oil. You could use vegetable oil if you wanted to, whatever. And we're gonna add some fresh aromatics to this now. So I like to do a shallot and some garlic. And I'm just gonna give this a rough chop. Let's see, how much am I doing? I'm doing 2 cloves. Could have had this part done. This would have been a good prep in advance. Let's see how fast I can do this. So, chop up some garlic. Can you guys see me? No, can't. Almost there on the garlic. Should have had this part done, sorry. And you don't have to do like a fine mince on this. I'm just doing like kind of slivers. It's okay if it has some chunkiness to it, that's just fine. So that's gonna go in, nice sizzle there. And then I like to add a shallot too. Some nice like fresh onion flavor there. This is gonna start smelling very good. Shallots are underrated in my opinion. I use them a lot. They're a lot sweeter than a normal onion, so they're great in dishes like this. Okay, there's half. I'm gonna do the other half. I like shallots a lot. I up the shallot content on my recipes. Okie dokie, we're almost there. Beautiful. So be careful not to burn this stuff. It can actually burn if you get it too hot. Perfect. Where's my little... I like these little wooden spatulas. Just give this a little stir. And this will cook very quickly, just like 1 minute. You just want to soften them a little bit, but they shouldn't get brown at all. And then we are going to turn up the heat a little bit. We're going to add this sauce to this, and it's going to be beautiful. So, let's do it. Orange chicken, ready? Okay. We have our fried chicken ready. We did this. We mixed up the sauce. We got the garlic and shallot. Ooh, it smells so good. It's like, oh, lovely. Okay, this is gonna be great. Ready? Awesome. Now, this is going to very rapidly, hopefully very rapidly, come to a little bit of a simmer, and it's going to immediately start thickening, just like, you know, because of the cornstarch. That's why it's thickening. A little bit because of the sugar, but mostly cornstarch. It's going to start thickening really quickly, and you don't want to add the chicken too soon, or the chicken will get kind of soggy. You want to wait till the sauce hits that right consistency of thickness. So we'll check it out when it gets there, so you can see it. Let me just throw some of this stuff in my sink. Yes. Okay. It's getting there. So once we get here, I'm going to go ahead and get a bowl ready. So I like to serve this with white rice. Don't get fancy. The only garnish, I'll use like some sesame seeds, some scallion on it. That's pretty much all it needs. The sauce is so good that, you know, it doesn't need very much with it. And again, this looks like a lot of sauce, but trust me, it gives you that classic ratio of chicken to sauce that people like. And it like soaks into the rice. What was I doing? I forgot. Oh, I'm getting a bowl with rice. That's what I'm doing. I made some white rice earlier. I'm just gonna put some in a little bowl here. Oh yeah, look at our sauce. It's getting there. Hold on, I gotta hurry. Okay, white rice. Whew, okay, see how? Oh yeah, oh yeah. Turn down my heat a little bit. So it's starting to thicken. It's like a light syrup right now. Not sure if you can tell, but the bubbles, you can tell by the bubbles, they start getting bigger, and that means you're getting more of like a syrupy consistency there. And this is about when I start thinking about adding my chicken back in. We're very close. Kim says, ooh, I'm doing this tonight. Yes, nice, Kim. Get it. Okay, so this is the consistency I'm looking for. I'll try to hold it up so you guys can see. I don't want to spill it. So it's like a thin, I would call it like a thin syrup consistency is the idea. And oh my God, it smells so good. It is like So citrusy and wonderful. All right, so all my chicken's gonna go in. Probably should have used a bigger skillet, actually. There we go. And at this point, you can turn your heat down. You don't want to keep cranking the heat, or it'll get too thick and burn. And then just start tossing your chicken in this sauce. Oh, this is it, people. This is the one. I'm very excited to eat this tonight for dinner. My family's having this for dinner tonight. They don't know that yet, but they are. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Look how that coats. Wonderful, wonderful. Beautiful. Kill the heat. Ta-da! Orange chicken. So when you're ready to serve, just some white rice. Make sure to get a lot of that delicious sauce going in there, right? And then, like I said, I keep the scallion. Just a little fresh scallion on there. Check this out, guys. Homemade, from scratch, Chinese orange chicken. It is a super delicious recipe. I don't know, how long is this video? It's probably 30 minutes, but I did a lot of talking. Honestly, you can make it in about 20 to 25 if you're really thinking about it. I'm gonna give it a shot. Oh man, that sauce. I wish you guys could smell this. It's so delicious. It's so good. It's one of my favorite American Chinese recipes. Man, so delicious. I don't have the words. It's too good. It's really good, guys. All right. That's it for me today. I'm just stuffing my face with this orange chicken. Give it a shot. We saw it, we cooked it live. It's not that hard. It is worth every minute of time it takes to make. And I think you're gonna love it. So check out the recipe on simplyrecipes.com. Again, I am Nick from Nick Evans from machismo.com. And we'll be back next week. We're trying to do these every Tuesday, cooking live. Leave a comment if you have a question. Send me a message on Instagram, @machismo, and I will do my best to answer. Hope you guys all have a great and happy Tuesday. Talk to you soon. Bye.